Gun is an open-world, story-driven, third-person shooter which is set in the late 1800s America, where the law is pretty much non-existent and the world is a free-for-all. Gun, the game, was released in 2005 on multiple platforms including the Xbox, Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, PC, and GameCube. It was published by Activision and developed by Neversoft, who are famous for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. Now, this is my first pick for BG4G's brand new series, and I'm going to tell you why Gun is an underrated video game. Gun's story, in my personal opinion, could be considered heart-wrenching, where you play as Colton White, who is an expert hunter who hunts alongside his grizzled father, Ned White. Colton's story begins as every other day. Shoot some quails, wolves, deer, and save your father from getting murdered by a grizzly bear. All is well until you board a riverboat to collect a sacred and highly valued item, which then eventually leads to a massive attack from the antagonist's merry men, who themselves are looking for this said item. This then leads to the death of many of the passengers, including Ned's friend, and sadly, Ned himself. But before Ned saves you and unfortunately demises, he drops a massive bombshell onto you.
The boilers are gonna blow. Quick, take this. That's a token to the Alhambra, the cat house in Dodge City. Go there and ask for Jenny.
I ain't leaving you, Pa.
God damn it, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I ain't your father. Now go. Ah!
Yeah. The damage of that is worse than Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Fallout 3's megaton bomb, as well as the beginning of Fallout 4 put together. What I'm trying to say is that, emotionally, is a lot of damage. Anyway, your story really begins here. Yes, you do end up looking for the sacred item that evil preacher Josiah Reed and his big-ass boss seeks out to get. However, for me, the real story is to find out Colton's roots, and I must say that it doesn't disappoint. I'll leave the story for you there, as I don't want to give away too much from a game that's nearly 15 years old. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to encourage you to go out of your way and actually play this game. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. So the game itself, you can't help when looking back at it to compare it to Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. It is impossible. However, it is obvious that this game doesn't hold a candle to the titles mentioned, whether it is the controls, the handling of the game itself, or just the game in its entirety. However, before playing Red Dead Redemption, at all, this was my go-to game for some Wild West carnage. The game movements controls are jagged but easy to comprehend with. However, controlling a horse, jumping, running, is a complete and utter pain. Even directing your horse can be painful. Firing your gun, though, is enjoyable and simple, even though there really is no option to zoom in. However, Gun does offer you a quick draw feature which allows you to slow down time, aim your gun more accurately, and scoring some delicious kills. And lastly, the game does offer you multiple activities to carry out besides the story missions. Activities such as poker, chasing bandits, digging for gold, and even Delivery Boy, aka the Pony Express. The game also has a variety of weapons for you to use and even has a shop feature where you can upgrade things like reload time, weapon damage, and even your health bar. There is quite a lot to do within the game. Yes, the controls and the game itself is pretty poor when compared to other titles like I've mentioned, Red Dead. However, for the time, Gun was definitely a very enjoyable game. Yes, even though you had games like GTA San Andreas, which were far more detailed than this game, it still stood out of being a very good, comprehensible game that you can play. As I've mentioned, it is a bit jagged, but you do go past these flaws and you really get to see what this game offers in regards to gameplay. Again, you can't compare this to Red Dead Redemption or even GTA San Andreas, which was still somewhat new around this time. The audio, in my mind, is completely brilliant, as it complements the gameplay incredibly well. And on a side note, the main menu theme is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I used to have it on my iPhone. It's that good. The voice acting for me is spot on, and each character are bursting with personality and their own characteristic traits that differ from the next character you meet. However, the visuals aren't as pretty. Bear in mind that this game was created a few generations ago, and you can tell that it hasn't aged gracefully. The characters do look odd to say the least. Nonetheless, you are more likely to come across a load of characters that make you want to... The environment isn't as big as it could have been. Although it is diverse, you can go from meadows to Native American camps to a shanty town to farms to even a massive fort. In this small area, there is actually quite a bit there. However, this game would have definitely benefited with an environment that is bursting with much more life, and maybe a few secrets hidden around the place. However, to end visuals on a high note, the horses, in my opinion, look fantastic. And now for my final thoughts. I haven't played Gun for a while before I decided to play it again for the purpose of this video. However, I had fun. I had a lot of memories come back to me, and it was just a fantastic time to play. Now, don't get me wrong, Gun has nothing compared to both Red Dead Redemption installments. I haven't actually played Red Dead Revolver, so I can't compare Gun with Revolver. I just can't. However, just because this isn't as superior as the Rockstar Games interpretation of Western video games, it does hold up on its own as a solid Western game that is simple to follow and engaging throughout. Yes, the graphics and the whole aesthetics aren't as crisp when compared to other games that were released during that period as well as future titles. However, comparing this game to others is really the only flaw of this game. However, me personally, I don't think that's fair, even though the graphics are a bit scary at times. Now, when you begin to pick Gun apart, you are sure to find pieces that aren't as good as they could have been. But I believe that this game is incredibly solid to play, and everyone who has had the chance to play Gun will agree that this is definitely underrated and deserves more love. I would like to personally thank you for joining me for this first installment for the BG4G's underrated video game series. It's been a blast to make, and I've tried to put as much effort and love and work into this video more than anything else that I've ever worked on. But no, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that whether you are more inclined to go buy Gun, whether this has actually turned you off of Gun, or if you have played Gun and you've got your own thoughts and feelings, I would absolutely love to hear it. Now, this is the beginning of the series. There are more games coming out from my end. I hope other members of the BG4G family do decide to nominate their own underrated video games and make a video or an article on the website themselves. It should be fun. It should be a great conversation starter. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please consider sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting down below, and joining us and be a part of the BG4G family over on www.bg4ghub.com. Link will be in the description below, as well as links to our other social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the actual website as well. I think I've already mentioned that, as well as our other YouTube channel, BG4G Respawned, where we do more gaming, let's plays, more fun side of things. Thank you ever so much again, and I'll see you on the next one.